Hi everybody, it's Andy, and welcome again to my office in Los Altos, California. I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in California as well as New York. In this video, I'm going to talk about how to become an accredited representative before the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. Now, a lot of you are probably wondering what that means precisely, and I'll give you the background like this. So if you are, former military yourself, or you are related to somebody who, is either active duty now or was formerly in the military, you probably know that a lot of veterans need help in some way. So if you watch the news, you might see that a lot of them are, homeless. They are struggling with drug and alcohol addiction, for example. So for those of us in the United States, I think culturally that speaks to us in a very kind of visceral sort of way. Basically, somebody who has, risked their life, risked their well-being to serve in the U.S. Armed Forces deserves, to be, housed, healthy, etc. They should not be living under a bridge, struggling with drugs and alcohol. So, because of that kind of, urge, I guess, on behalf of the public to help veterans, there's basically a lot of people who probably are wondering, okay, I want to help veterans. How should I do it? What's the most effective way? And that's where accreditation comes in. So think of accreditation as being a license or a certification in order to prepare, present, and prosecute claims for benefits on behalf of veterans before the Veterans Administration. So the Veterans Administration, I guess, being an agency of the U.S. government, there are, as you might expect, a lot of rules, forms, processes to do before or to go through before you can receive, medical benefits, financial benefits, etc. And as you can imagine, that process can be a bit involved, can be, intimidating in some circumstances. So a lot of veterans who, should go through that process don't. So that's where accreditation, is very helpful, because here's the kind of secret, I suppose. Normally, you would think that to represent somebody before a government agency, you have to be a lawyer. Lawyers can do it. They can represent veterans before the VA if the attorney is accredited. But non-lawyers can do it also. So the thing is, if a non-lawyer, a layperson, is accredited, they are referred to in VA parlance as a claim agent or claims agent. In the process, I guess, to get accredited, in order to become a claims agent, if you're not a lawyer, is like this. There is a specific VA form that you have to fill out. It's specifically the VA Form 21A, which, as always, I'll paste and link down below for you. But the basic idea is, if you're a lawyer, you fill that form out. You provide basic information about, your bar number, how long you've been admitted to the bar in whatever state you're in, etc. And generally, for lawyers, it's just a matter of time. Like, you fill out the form, you send it in, you have to wait for the VA to process it. If you are a non-lawyer, you also fill out the Form 21A, but there's a second step for you, I guess, if you're not a lawyer. So the Form 21A will determine initial eligibility for a non-lawyer. And initial eligibility will be determined, amongst other things, on things like, have you been arrested before? Have you been certified or been accredited before, rather, and lost your accreditation in some way, stuff like that. And then depending on whether or not you pass those initial kind of screenings, I suppose, the VA will then send you instructions, send the layperson instructions about how to take the written exam. So, I guess if you're a non-lawyer and you're trying to become a claims agent, there is a written exam that you have to take. And then, once you clear the initial kind of screenings, the VA will tell you and send you information about how to actually take that test. So hopefully that made sense. The two takeaways, I guess, is that if you want to become accredited to help veterans, receive benefits before the VA, if you're a lawyer, it's actually really easy to become accredited. If you're a non-lawyer, it should hopefully be easy as well, but just know that there is a written exam that you have to take also. So the last thing, I guess, is that a while ago I put out a video, I think it was one of my very first videos, that goes over how to determine whether or not somebody actually is a lawyer. I'm going to go ahead and link that video over here, I guess, if you haven't seen it already. It's one of my earlier videos. But the idea in that video is that if you want to search for somebody, you can do a search online, and there's a kind of a website that will tell you who's a lawyer and who's not. For the VA, there is a similar website that will tell you who is accredited and who's not. So the thing is, if somebody comes up to you and says that, hey, I can help you, get your VA benefits, they have to be accredited, and you can use the accreditation website to search to confirm that yes they are or no they're not. A lot of con men and other types of people like that probably will take advantage, and if you're a veteran, you really should not be taken advantage of ever. So I'll go ahead and link the accreditation search website down below. It's really easy. You can search by state, search for attorneys only, agents only, etc. So hopefully all of that made sense. The idea that a non-lawyer, a layperson, can get accredited and basically help veterans out, to get benefits, claims, prosecute claims, etc., is not something that's well known. I can't really think of a good reason why, because I think the need is definitely out there. So hopefully all that helped, and go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, all that nice stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks.